So I'm about to tell you something that will, at first, probably sound like bad news. In fact, I had quite a lengthy debate with myself about whether or not to even bring this up on the channel at all, and then about how to bring it up, until eventually I realized, in what can only be described as a stroke of genius, that it's probably not nearly as important to anybody else as it is to me, so it's really not that big of a deal. Which, in the grand scheme of things, I guess means that this whole intro is entirely overly dramatic and completely unnecessary. At this point, you're probably thinking, would you spit it out already? I mean, seriously, man, what the f? Well, that wouldn't be very YouTube savvy of me, now would it? I mean, you gotta build suspense, drama. Also, I'm telling you all this because it's actually important to the story of why we're gonna be making what we're gonna be making today. So, what are we making today? Well, that's easy. We're going to be making a replacement crossfeed screw for an old lathe. This one happens to be for a South Bend Model 9C. However, I think the more important question, for today's discussion at least, is why are we doing this? Well, the simple answer is I lost my job. Now, before you go thinking anything crazy, it isn't because I did anything wrong or did a bad job or anything like that. No, the company I was working for went bankrupt, and quite honestly, it was only a matter of time. And so I find myself in a situation where I no longer have an income, but what I do have is a shop full of incredibly capable machine tools. So this of course begs the obvious question, can I actually make money with these things? And that is where this feed screw comes in. Because, believe it or not, this feed screw is actually a paying job, and in my opinion is a pretty good example of the sort of thing that you can do in really even the smallest hobby shop and make a little bit of money. And I guess that's sort of the thing about the hobby shop, right? Is size. Most of us don't have stuff like forklifts or overhead cranes. We can't do the type of work that, you know, Curtis over at Cutting Edge Engineering does. And I don't know, I'll speak for myself, but because of that, I feel like I often tend to underestimate the type of work that I'm actually capable of doing in the shop. But I feel like that's a mistake. Because a lot of us have Bridgeport style mills and decent sized lathes, and with the right person operating them, a basic knee mill and say a 13 or 14 inch lathe can do a lot of good work. And you know, it's not like I've done a ton of paying jobs or anything in this shop, but I've done a couple, maybe a few, more than 2, less than 10. The point is, of all the jobs that I have done in this shop, they all have one thing in common, and that thing is that they're small. And I don't mean small in terms of just the physical size, but more of sort of in the scope of the work. For instance, making or repairing a part that's either incredibly difficult or incredibly expensive to replace. Or making some very specific, unique widget for somebody based on a drawing they did on a napkin over dinner. You know, all the stuff that the bigger shops just don't want to be bothered with. Anyway, I think you get the point I'm trying to make. We can do the stuff that nobody else wants to do. By the way, a South Bend 9 crossfeed screw is a 7/16 10 TPI left-handed Acme. That's what we're cutting. So, like I was saying, take this feed screw for example. This is exactly the kind of job that is just not worth it for a larger shop to bother with. But on the other hand, it happens to be perfect for a hobby shop. It's small in size, it's a low production with quantity of one, and all the operations required to complete the part can be done with tools that you'll find in even the most modestly tooled hobby shop. So, a job like this allows us to take all of those things that might initially seem like weaknesses and turn them into our strengths.
Nice.
All right, we are on the home stretch now. Those threads came out looking really nice. And I think I mentioned earlier that this is being made for a South Bend Model 9C, which does not have a power feed. So there's no need to cut the gear in this section here, which means that there's just a couple of small things that I need to do down this end to finish up, and this job will be done. And I guess that brings me to my final point. It's easy to underestimate ourselves. I know that my first instinct is to list all of the things that I can't do. But if you're willing to work hard, put yourself out there, and even take some calculated risks, you'll find that list of things that you can't do gets smaller every single day. And before you know it, you might just be surprised at what you're capable of. And there we have it, one paying job, complete and ready to ship. Which I guess brings us back around quite nicely to our original question. Can you make money in the hobby shop? I'm sure that many, if not most of us, have thought about it, and I hope that today we have at least begun to answer that question with a yes. To say that I had some sort of grand plan or secret formula would be quite the overstatement, but what I do have is the same thing that we all have: flexibility, autonomy, complete control over my time and schedule. And these are all things that you're not going to find in a bigger shop that has overhead, salaries to pay, benefits, etc. And that simple fact alone makes these all things that we can use to our benefit. But most of all, I want to hear your experiences and ideas in the comments down below. Have you ever made money in your hobby shop? Or are you making money in your shop right now? If so, what kind of jobs do you do? Is there a specific niche that you've been able to fill? Are there any particular challenges that you've faced? And if so, how did you overcome them? Or maybe you've thought about making money in your shop, but for one reason or another, you just haven't been able to bring yourself to get started. If so, what's holding you back? Are there any particular fears or apprehensions that are preventing you from putting yourself out there and advertising your services? Again, let me know in the comments down below. If you've made it this far into the video, maybe you'll stay for a few more seconds of shameless self-promotion. Like I mentioned earlier, I did lose my full-time job. Honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do about that long-term, but for now at least, if you like what I do here and you want to show your support, the easiest thing that you can do is subscribe, like, comment, and maybe even share the video. If you would like to show a little financial support and get something physical in return, there should be links to some of my merch somewhere just below the video. Stuff like hats, sweatshirts, and t-shirts with my logo on them, just like the one that I am wearing right here. And if you want to get really crazy, I do have a Patreon. There are links to that in the description down below. Finally, one more thing before you go. If you like this video and are interested in learning more about the details of making one of these feed screws, I do have another video where I walk step by step through the entire process of making a South Bend feed screw complete with the power feed gear. So if you'd like to learn how to make one of these for yourself, I do highly encourage you to check out that video. I'll leave a link somewhere in one of these corners down below. And with that, I will finally stop talking. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in the next video very, very soon.